This
So BRF
conference
plus.
will now be recorded.
So we have seen that BRF plus and custom initiator rule. So how to create that, and also we have tried to submit the request, and that was getting into the right path accordingly as per the initiator rule. So do you have any questions on that part? Today I'll show you guys the notifications. That means whenever a request been sent to a approver, right, or a manager for approval, so there should be a notification sent to him that this so and so request is pending with you. Okay, so how the notifications will be set up? Okay, so what would be the content, how to change the content if required, and who should be the recipients of that notification, so how to configure that. So all that we'll see today. Okay, so let me log into the system. I'm going to the same screen, guys. Maintain MSMP workflow is there, right? So I'm trying to go to the same workflow. Okay, so here there is something called variables and templates. Okay, so what's the purpose of this? So here we have templates which are all the standard templates. You can see GRAC, it starts with all GRAC. So we have templates, and then we have variables. Each template has message class, okay, and a document object. So what are all these, and how to use this? Okay, basically these a place where you need to define a template, message class, and a document object, and most of the time there is no need to create a custom ones. If you want to create a custom one also, we can create, not a problem. Okay, so first we'll try to understand how to use these existing ones. Okay, so how to use the existing ones. Let's say uh, there are different notifications here: approved, close, escalation, forward, rejected, submit. So for example, once you submit the request, right, once you submit the request, there should be a notification sent. Who should get the notification? Okay, so for example, let's say our requirement is, once you submit the request, you should get a notification that, okay, this so and so request has been submitted, and that particular uh, notification has to be sent to requester and also user. Okay, sometimes you might request on behalf of someone, right? So that time user will be different and requester will be different. So you can request behalf of others also, right? Not just yours. So at that time, the so whenever the request is submitted, there should be a notification sent to requester and also the um, user. In the same way, whenever the request is completed, that means closed. That means there are two stage approval. Both of them has been approved. So that also immediately there should be notification sent to a requester and user that so and so this request has been closed. Okay, like this. This is the requirements. How do you achieve it? Okay, for example, let's take a simple example like close. Close means request has been closed. For that, if you see, we have already have a template. GRAC AR close. Access request close. Okay, so now we need to use this. Okay, so this has all these variables approved by first name, last name, path, provisioning. So these are all the variables already. So using these variables, we can prepare the content of the mail for this template. Okay, so every template will have a document object associated with it. So we need to open this document object and we can change the content there. How to open that? We need to open that through SE61. SE61. So here SE61 select data element as general text. Sorry, document class will be general text. Okay, now give that document object name GRACR close display. See, here you can see the content. So as you can see here, hi, first name, last name, the user ID. Okay, so these are the variables. If you see here in this template, these are all, see, first name, last name, these are all the variables. Variables has to be put in percentage. Okay, so that why do we need these variables? These variables are all dynamic. These change as per the request, right? For example, the request number so and so has been processed. Request number you can give it here. What can be the request number? So that's the reason we have a variable. GRC has already given as a variable. If you see here, see, request number is a variable. You can just use it. When this notification will be sent, whatever the request number is there for that particular request, that request number will be here, has been processed and the request has been closed, and the details are follows, and the provisioning. So provisioning variable will have the complete details, which roles has been assigned, which roles has been rejected, all that details. Kind regards, access control administrator. Okay, this is the content of the notification. So in the same way, if you want to change it, you can come here and change it. Okay, so most of time there is no need of changing anything. So but yeah, sometimes we really need to change it. It's as per the requirement. So if you want to create a new one also, you can just create here. Okay, create a new document. Okay, now I go back to SPRO. There is something called here maintain text for custom notification messages. Maintain custom notification messages. Okay, so here if I go here, message class, message number, document object. If you can see here, okay, uh, this is empty here. If you want to customize this, that means you don't want you don't want for this close, you don't want this document object. Okay, you want to create a new one and use that one. Okay, so how do I create a new one? I need to go to SC61. I need to go to SC61, and here I'll create a new one. Okay, now once I create that new one, that has to be linked to the message class. Here you can see every template has one message class. Here this is a message class, right? This message class should be linked to document object. How do I do that? That I have to do in SPRO. In message class, here I have to give that message class, and here I have to give that document object which I have created. Okay, and save it. And then I can come to MSMP and I can create my own template. And message class, it's already there. AR close. Okay, and then document object also I have created. Okay, so that way I can create a new one. But basically, most of the time, there is no need of creating a new one. Um, we can use a new existing one itself. And if you want to change the content, anyway, you can change the content as well for the existing one itself. Okay, now once we are done with this, that means we are ready with the content of the mail. Okay, so this is the object, general object, document object. So we have the content, we have seen the content, and that content is, we are ready. Now we need to define uh, when this notification has to be sent and to whom. That's it, right? So this is a content we have defined. Okay, so when this notification has to be sent and to whom, that would be defined in maintain paths. We come here to maintain paths. For example, let's see the path which we have created. For example, let's go for this path. Every stage there will be notification settings. For every stage there will be notification settings. In this notification settings, you need to define what is the notification should be sent at this stage. So manager stage, at this stage, manager should be sent a notification that he got a request pending. That is the notification which has to be sent to this manager at this stage. Okay, now I'll select this stage and go to notification settings. Here I need to create a notification event when I need to send. So I'll just go back to and come back in change mode. I'll go to process global settings. I'm getting into change mode. Now maintain paths. Now notification settings. Okay, so if I click on create now, this is a manager stage, right? So I need to select a notification event. If I see all the notification events, approved, escalation, forward, new item, rejected. So manager stage, there is a new work item. So that's the reason I have to select new work item. Okay, so if it is approved, I need to select approved. What if it is rejected? I need a notification. So at this stage, manager should get a notification for what? For that we have to decide. So for what he has to get? He has to get a notification for a new work item because he has to approve it. Okay, so for example, if you consider if the request is been approved, okay, so that has to be get a notification to at the same stage. At the same stage, once the request is approved by the manager, okay, now requester should get to know that manager has approved. At that time, we'll select approved notification and we'll give the template ID, uh, approved template ID, and recipient will be the requester. Now if I select new work item, I'll select the new work item, and template ID also. These are all the template IDs. You can see there is a template, new work item. Who has to get this notification? Recipient. Who has to get it? Current approvers. Whoever is the current approver, they have to get it. Okay, current approver has to get it and save it. Close. Now what happens is I have defined the notification now. You can see it here. Now whenever there is a new work item at this stage, automatically a notification will be sent to the current approvers. Whoever is the approver, that approver will get the notification saying that so and so request is pending for your approval. Okay, I want to create another notification saying that once the request is approved at this stage. Okay, so I need notification should be sent to a requester. Okay, so that I'll create the notification event approved whenever the request is approved at this stage. So template grse approved, notification should be requester, recipient should be requester. Save. So once there are two stages now, two notifications. One notification would be sent to the approver immediately once the request is at this stage. Okay, then one notification will be sent after the request is approved at this stage. So I have different two notifications now at this stage. One is at the initial stage when the new work item will be coming to manager, and the next notification is once the request is approved by the manager. Okay, these two things, there are two notifications. In the same way, how many notifications you want to set up, you can set up all that notifications. So this is a place you can just have the document object assigned to the template ID. You can use these variables. So no need of changing anything, guys. If you want to change, um, I suggest document object is already there. Go to SC61. Here you can change it, change the content, or else everything can be used as it is. Okay, if you want to change the content of it, you can change the content here. Whatsoever required, you can just use it. Okay. So any questions? This is a simple topic. Just there is nothing much to get here. Just if you want to, how do the notification settings has been done, and if you want to change the content of the notification, how do we change it? That's it. 3 steps. First, if you want to use the same, there is nothing. You can just come here. You can just use this in the next step, maintain paths. But in case if you want to change, go to SC61 and open it and change it. Okay, in case you don't even want this document object, you want to create a new document object, in that case there will be an extra step. So here in SC61 you will create the document object. Once you create that, go to SPRO. Here there is something called notification messages. There you need to link one message class to the document object. Where can you get this message class? Again in MSMP. For every template there is a message class. You need to link this message class with the document which you have created. Once you are done with that step, you have to come here and you need to, okay, so you need to add that here, and you need to delete this record and add your record with your document object. Okay, and then you can use that template in the next step in maintain paths. Is this clear, guys?
Yeah,
Yes, Trilo.
Okay, So this is all about notifications. Okay, now I'm just trying to see we're in setup tab. Okay, so here, okay, so here we have covered whatsoever we have to cover. Access risk analysis, access request creation. Okay, guys, so this is all about ARM. So uh, we have seen, I'll just have a recap of what we have covered in ARM. So we have seen the first thing is we have seen the access request creation. How do we create access request? What are the different fields in that access request? Okay, what if we want to, and we have seen the copy request, model access request. We have seen that, and then we have seen the template. If we want to create a new template, so we don't want certain fields for certain requests, then we have to go for template management. In template management, we have to create the UPID, end user personalization. Once you create UP, then we can create templates. Using that template will help us to hide some fields for some request types. And so a request type, we have seen how to create request types, and each request type will have an action. So what is the purpose of that action? So we have seen, and also we have seen the provisioning settings. Okay, for example, so we have seen provisioning settings in SPRO. That provisioning settings are like, okay, should be direct assignment or indirect assignment. Okay, so that is general settings itself. So we have just covered that. I'll just provisioning settings means I was talking about this one. So maintain global. So I can just, for example, account validation check. So if you click it, get a warning and a error. It it will check whether the user is existing or not. So if user is existing, uh, then request will be submitted. For example, you are trying to lock a user. You are giving some random user in the access request and submitting the request. If you put on a account validation check, then it will actually check whether that user actually exists in that system or not. Okay, so all other systems, all the other settings are okay. So they're that auto provisioning. Yes, we need the auto provisioning when at the end of the request. So these are all the same. Okay, then we have seen the data sources. So what is the importance of data source? Okay, so why do we need a manager? So details, where do we get that manager details? Okay, we have to give them as a data source, which will normally in real time there will be active directory. So once you give that active directory, connect that to grc and use that in the data source, automatically the all details, manager details, first name, email id, last name, all that details will be automatically fetched into the access request. Okay, so how do we do that? We need to connect to active directory and use that active directory as the data source. Okay, so that we have seen the data source, and we have tried to import. So this is important. So we have tried to import the roles. So what is the importance of importing the roles? So if you are not importing the roles, then you will not be able to see that roles in the access request. Okay, once we have imported the roles, and then we have tried to submit the requests. Once we have submitted that request, then we have tried to search for that request. uh, we have imported the roles, and then we have tried to submit the request, and we have searched the request. How do we search the request, and how do we see the status of the request, and how do we forward the request or cancel the request? Okay, so we have seen all that, and we have seen the audit log as well. Okay, and then we have moved on to MSMP. In MSMP, we have seen all the 7 steps. How do we actually, what's the use of the 7 steps? And we have tried using the default initiator rule, and also we have tried to create a custom initiator rule. And we have tried to understand what is the initiator rule, what is the routing rule, and what is the agent rule. Okay, and we have taken a simple scenario. Okay, so I strongly believe this is pretty much enough for you guys to get onto a project or clear an interview. Okay, so uh, if you are good with whatever the topics which I have discussed, that is more than enough to clear an interview. Or in if you come to work, most of it which we have discussed, you guys will not be doing it. You'll be just doing only the first part of importing the roles, searching for requests, all that. The second part you would not be doing at all. Okay, so but interview, yes, they would be asking. That's the reason we have discussed all that. Okay, and then today we have seen the notifications. How do we send the notifications? How do we trigger that notifications? All that we have seen. Okay, this is pretty much about ARM. Okay, so you guys have any questions?
Not below.
Okay, fine.
Trilok,
Yes,
yesterday I have practiced the troubleshooting in ECC.
sorry.
Talking about troubleshooting.
Yesterday, I did some practice on troubleshooting in ECC.
Okay,
Regarding that ST01 transaction, I tried it, but actually I did not get that record.
okay.
I tried with a user.
Mm-hmm.
I checked with some which are not S20 authorization objects which are
Your
not S20,
your
but
your
I did
your
not
voice
get the
is
record.
your voice is breaking completely.
1 second, 1 second. Be on the line.
Still the trace is on. You should never do this. You should never ever do this in the real time projects. See, I came into system, and you can see trace is switched on. You have switched on the trace, and you have forgot to switch off the trace.
No, actually I switched on the trace. Maybe this is second or third time which I did it.
Whatsoever, but real time I'm telling you, you should
Hmm.
whenever you switch on the trace,
Hmm.
because once you switch on and leave
Hmm.
it, right, whatever that user is doing, it will be recorded,
Recorded,
and
yes.
there will be lots of memory will be used for all that records, and system performance will be getting reduced. Okay, I'm just switching
Yes,
off
yes.
this. Okay, so I have switched off now. Okay, so
Okay.
let's say let's say I want to switch it, put a trace on myself. What I'm doing. So first I need to, in ST01, which I have discussed, is we have to see user, and they both are in the same server. If you guys remember SM51. Here there is only one server, so we don't have any problem. If there are multiple servers, then we have to make sure both are there in the same server. Okay, now authorization check only. General filters, give the username grc 4 and trace on. I'm putting trace on my user itself. So I'm trying to open SU01, some user display not created. Okay, switch off, analyze, ERINST4, execute. Okay, so I'll just remove this. Okay, see, I have executed SC01, so everything is green. So what I have done, I have executed SU01. I got it. So sometimes what happens is you just need to remove this time and give the complete day. Okay,
Can you come back
this
below?
yes.
Actually, there in settings, there is save option. That we need
Uh,
to save.
yes, once you click
Uh,
on this, general filters, give the user ID
uh,
and click on save button here.
maybe I did not save that, I think.
Okay, then you can just trace on.
Okay. Maybe that one I did not do, I think. Okay, I
Uh,
got it.
Okay, fine. Is there any other questions?
Nothing as of now.
Okay, so now I'll just give a brief on the next module. Okay, the next module is emergency access management. So this is a very small module. So this is just about the firefighter management. First of all, what is a firefighter? Firefighter is nothing but a elevated access which has really sensitive access, and that would be given only for certain period of time. Okay. Why do we need a firefighter? In which scenario we need a firefighter? For example, you have defined all the roles. Okay, all the roles, all the you have defined, you have given the, and you have ran the risk analysis for all the roles, and there were many risks, and you need to remediate that risk. You don't need so many risks, right? So what was the first step? You need to do a SOD. SOD means you need to segregate the duties. If there is a risk of executing two T codes, you should try to uh, remove that access for that T code, and that particular duty has to be done by some other user who doesn't have the risk. That's how you need to manage. In some cases, we can do that. In some cases, the same person has to do this both the activities, but the other one T code of it, he would be using only once or twice in a month, or maybe uh, less than that, maybe only one time. Okay, in a month. Only maybe at the month end activities. There will be month end activities, right? At that time, he might use that T code. So what we do is, so then there is no need of him having that risk all the time. Okay, so what we do, we'll create a firefighter ID. Firefighter ID, when I say firefighter ID, is nothing but a user ID. How you go and create in SU01 one user ID. That the same way we'll create a firefighter ID. Okay, in the same way we'll create a firefighter ID in SU01. Okay, now once you create a firefighter ID, that extra access, whatever he have, that we will give it in firefighter ID. Okay, now my basic question, in which system you need to create this firefighter ID? So
ECC, right?
sorry.
ECC system,
Yes,
backend.
exactly. So we need to create this firefighter ID in the backend system, because in the backend system itself, right, he has sensitive access. Okay, you have run the risk analysis using GRC in the backend system, and you got the n number of risks, and you are trying to remove that risks. Where you are removing? So where is that role exactly? That role is in backend system. So you need to remove risk from the that role. So once you remove that access, and you need to create a new user ID. Where you need to create? You need to create in the backend system. That will be the firefighter ID. Once you create that firefighter ID, okay, firefighter user ID, and then we have now we have tried to understand few things here. First one, firefighter ID. So firefighter ID, once we are done with that, we have created a firefighter ID. Now whenever the person needs that access, he has to raise a request for getting that access to a firefighter ID. In the same way, if you want a role, right, you need to raise access request for that role, right, and that will go through a workflow, right. In the same way, in firefighter ID also, we will have to user have to whoever wants to use this firefighter ID, he has to raise a request for that. How to raise a request for that? Again, through access request form. Okay, once he raise a request for that, and every firefighter ID will have a owner and a controller. Every firefighter ID will have a owner and a controller. Okay, so now once you raise that request, owner will approve it. That request will go to that firefighter ID owner. Every firefighter ID will have a owner, right? Once owner will approve it for a validity 1 day, or based on your requirement, maximum I have seen 3 days, but ideally SAP recommends 1 day. Okay, firefighter should be assigned only for 1 day. Okay, now it has been assigned for 1 day. Okay, now once it's been assigned for a day, uh, firefighter, the user is called as here firefighter. So now this firefighter will get access to the firefighter ID. How do he use that firefighter ID? That we will all see in the system how he has to use that. Okay, now who will assign it? GRC system will take care of it. Once the request is approved by the owner, automatically that firefighter ID will be assigned to that firefighter for a validity of 1 day. In that 1 day, he can use that firefighter ID. Now, once he logs into the firefighter ID and perform whatsoever he want and logs off, everything what firefighter has done using that ID, everything will be recorded as a log. Okay, everything will be recorded as a log, and that log will be automatically sent to the controller of that firefighter ID. That is also through workflow. That is also the workflow which we have to configure again through MSMP. I will show you guys that. Okay, so I'm just trying to explain the concept of the firefighter here. Okay, so now once a log is generated, that log will be automatically sent to the controller of that firefighter ID. Every ID will have a controller. Okay, there can have multiple controllers also, guys. If there are multiple controllers, if there are 4 controllers for that firefighter ID, all the 4 controllers will get the logs. Okay, so once they get the logs, they have to get into the system again, controller, and they have to review that log in GRC. That also will be sent as a access in work inbox, right? You have seen the work inbox. In work inbox itself, it will be a pending request for controller. A controller has to open and he has to see what are the request, means logs pending for his approval. He has to see, and he has to check what he has done. Everything is fine. If everything is fine, he will approve the log. Okay, is this clear, guys? This is a basic
Yeah,
concept
yes.
of controller and owner can be the same person also, not an issue.
Yeah.
Okay, is this clear?
Okay. Yes, Sriram.
Okay, so now there are two types of firefighting: centralized, decentralized. Centralized firefighter and decentralized firefighter. There are two things. Now we'll just see. So let's take this example, guys. GRC system is connected to two backend systems. One is EC system, another one is SRM system. Let's take this as an example. Okay. So what is the concept which we have seen here right now? Till now, what we have discussed. Okay. Now, where is the firefighter ID created?
The backend system, ECC.
Backend system, ECC, FFID. Just making the word as FFID. FFID is nothing but firefighter ID. So here also we have to create in the backend system itself. That's it, right? ECC, SRM, we have to create the firefighter ID in the backend system. Okay. Where will be the firefighter? Firefighter means the user who gonna use this firefighter. Where that user should be there?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry,
For each system, there will be one firefighter ID.
means
In ECC, one
yeah.
for ECC backend system, one
All users
firefighter
are
ID.
using in HC01, right?
Sorry, one by one. What was the first question?
In backend
No, for
system, user list is existing in SU01.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So what
So
was the
here
other question?
firefighter also one user, right?
Yes, firefighter is nothing but the user itself
Okay.
who will be using this firefighter ID.
Okay.
So firefighter also will be there in the backend system only. Okay. Is there any other question? Someone was asking another question, I think.
For each backend system, there will be one firefighter ID, depending on the requirement.
We can create as many as firefighter IDs.
Okay.
In any system, we can create as many as firefighter IDs. It's not just one system firefighter ID. Okay, so I'm just trying to. So this is okay. If your question is these both are same, no. This is a different firefighter ID and this is a different firefighter. These are on two different systems. This is a firefighter ID 1, firefighter ID 2, let's say. Okay, so now what does GRC do here? So GRC will help you to assign that firefighter ID to firefighter with the help of approvers, and also it will take care of the log, and the log will be again sent to the controller. Okay, owner this firefighter ID will be a user ID, right? So that firefighter ID will have a owner and controller. That owner and controller will be assigned in the GRC system. Okay, so and owner will be getting a request to approve that, and controller will get the logs in the GRC system. Okay, if he wants to, if the firefighter wants to use this firefighter ID, okay, he has to log into the ECC system. Okay, he has to log into he has to log into the ECC system. There is a T code, guys. There is a transaction code to see all the firefighter IDs assigned to him. We'll talk about the T code later, but you just need to understand here right now that there is a T code to see all the firefighter IDs which are all assigned to him. So once he open that T code, he will see the firefighter ID 1. That's it, right? He'll not be able to see firefighter 2. Can he be able to see firefighter 2?
No,
No,
not
he'll
really.
not be able to see. If he want to use firefighter ID 2, then what he has to do? He has to log into the SRM system, and there he has to execute that transaction code. Then he will be able to see firefighter ID 2. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, Trilo.
So whatever system you want to execute the firefighter ID into that particular system, you need to uh, log in. That's it, right? Okay, so this is what we call as decentralized firefighter. Okay, this is what we call as decentralized firefighter. Okay, in this there is no need of firefighter to be in the GRC system. Okay, what is the other way? Centralized firefighter. If you use the centralized firefighter, what happens is, so once you've done all these assignments and user, we have to create firefighter in the GRC system. Okay, and once he logs into the GRC system, okay, once he logs into the GRC system and execute a T code, he can see all the firefighters which are assigned to him from different systems. That means once he logs into GRC and execute the transaction code, he can see firefighter 1 ID 1 and firefighter ID 2 both at the same place. If he have 10 systems and he have 10 systems and he have firefighter IDs in all the 10 systems, then all the 10 firefighter IDs he can see at the same place. That is the GRC system. That means from GRC system itself, he can log in to firefighter ID through any system. Okay, so sorry, I think I have articulated it wrong. Through through centralized firefighter ID. Centralized firefighter ID is nothing but in GRC itself will make sure that he can see all the firefighter IDs which are being assigned to him irrespective of which system it is. So if he has firefighter in 10 different systems, all the 10 systems firefighter can be visible in that screen in the GRC. Once you click on any of the firefighter, automatically it takes you to the backend system. So no need to log into the backend system at all. Firefighter itself will log into the backend system. That is the centralized firefighter. Are you guys clear with centralized and decentralized? We will see both. We'll see
Yes,
both,
yes.
and we'll see both how to use that. Are you guys clear with this? Centralized firefighter and decentralized firefighter.
Yeah, yes, Trilo.
Yes, yes, Trilo.
So now what we're gonna do is, okay, so we'll create a firefighter ID first, and we'll try to assign that firefighter ID. Sorry, we'll try to create a firefighter ID, and then we'll try to uh, create a owners and controllers for that firefighter ID. Okay, and then we will try to assign that firefighter ID through a request. Okay, once it is approved, and then we will try to uh, use that firefighter ID in both centralized way and decentralized way, and we will see whether the log is generated, and that log has to be triggered to the firefighter ID controller. So this is a complete process. So we'll see the complete process in the system, how we have to do that. So that's it. This module is all about. This module is just about the firefighter management. How do we
Okay.
create a firefighter ID? How do we use it? Sorry, yes.
No, no, nothing, Trilo.
So all this module is all about how to use that firefighter ID, how to assign that, how to uh, get the logs generated, how to uh, define a workflow for the controller, all that. So we'll see all that. But this is a very basic concept. Just have the elevated access and assign that access to the user so that there is no risk. The basic concept why we are doing all this means to remediate the risk. We don't want that risk for that user because it is a sensitive access. We are removing the access from that user and using it, giving it a firefighter ID, and for a very limited time. That too, we are monitoring what exactly he is being doing in using that. This is the basic concept of firefighter ID. So you guys have any questions in this?
Nothing, Trilo.
Okay. For tomorrow we'll see actually getting onto the system. How do we see? How do we check on this? Okay.
Trilo,
Yes.
ఆ క్వశ్చన్స్ మాకు ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తామని చెప్పారు కదా మీరు,
Okay.
ఫార్వర్డ్
Complete
చేస్తామని చెప్పారు.
interview questions కదా?
అవును.
అది ఆల్రెడీ నేను ప్రిపేర్ చేశాను. ఓకే ఫైన్. ఐ థింక్ రాజేష్ విల్ షేర్ యూ బై టుడే ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. టుడే ఈవినింగ్ లోపల మీ దగ్గరికి వచ్చేస్తాయి క్వశ్చన్స్
ఓకే,
అంతా
థ్యాంక్
మొత్తం.
యూ.
కంప్లీట్ సెక్యూరిటీ అండ్ జిఆర్సి.
థ్యాంక్ యూ,
ఓకే ఫైన్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఓకే, ఎనీథింగ్ ఎల్స్? ఓకే గైస్, థ్యాంక్ యూ. సీ యూ టుమారో ఇన్ ద మార్నింగ్.
ఓకే,
బాయ్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, Trilo.